Welcome back. Well, Jenny Addis joined us at the top of the show. We chatted about the accident that left her paralyzed from the neck down, what she's doing to inspire others. She inspires us here. She just makes us laugh.
She does. We were just cracking up during the break because we were talking about dating and creepy guys because we talked about that last time. And she agreed to stick around so we could chat a little bit more. It's so nice to have you back again,
Thanks
Jenny.
for staying, Jenny.
Yeah, we missed you because it was last year that we saw you. How do you feel about turning 40? I mean, you wrote the funniest email to Tiffany and me about thinking that you had frosting in your hair.
I did. I don't know if I was in denial that there could possibly be a gray hair on my head, but I had never found one before. And yeah, and this went on for like a week. And I was having the girls that helped me like hand wash the strand of hair because I was determined that and I had washed my hair every day, which was interesting. So finally that it was like a blonde moment and a light bulb went off and I was
Tiffany
like,
has those blonde moments
too.
too.
I'm right here, right there. I think it's nice to recognize the fact that we all go through these moments of monumental times in our lives. But I can imagine that you just feel like you're coming into a lot of stride with things. I mean, with your business, with speaking, the fashion show that you're putting on. Talk a little bit about why you decided to put on a fashion show.
Well, I think the greatest thing that I find with the fashion show is that the community gets to see individuals that are in wheelchairs, rolling down the runway, or even with any kind of disability. I should rephrase that because it's really any type of disability. But there's a chance in a moment where someone that might be in a wheelchair that maybe isn't treated with the respect that we all should be treated with, all because we're in a wheelchair, doesn't mean that we should have to be treated differently. So I think, community-wise, it's great because, people get to see us in a different light and beautiful and pretty and it's the same kind of fashion show that anybody else would participate in. Only, there are people with disabilities that participate.
Right. It's called This Is How We Roll. It's a fashion show and fundraiser and a community awareness event. It's not happening until October 20th. Right. So people still have time to put it on their calendar, but it's happening from 3 to 5 p.m. at Bruno Independent Living Aids in Economawalk, right? So a center there in Economawalk is where you're doing this. And it's all about accessibility and including people and kind of breaking down those, those barriers, right?
Yeah, and that's truly important is, just breaking down those barriers and those stereotypes that society has about people that are in wheelchairs, let's say, or have any type of disability. And that's super important. Not to mention, what I love about this fashion show is, so we have the fashion show aspect of it, but it's also a fundraising event and a community awareness event. So the proceeds for this fashion show will go to the Brian Reich Paralysis Foundation, which is actually based in Waukesha. So the foundation's goal is to fund the latest in medical research, and basically at the end of the day, what we do is we are finding a cure for paralysis and all these other neurological disorders that people don't realize all kind of clump together, because if there's a cure for spinal cord injuries, you're looking at there's a cure for Parkinson's and ALS and Alzheimer's, and all of those things are all basically stemming from the spinal cord. So if something is going on in there, that cure is going to save a lot of people. So that's the other great part about the show, is that, and not to mention the models. The models will get this amazing life-changing journey, especially if they've never been on stage. It's amazing. The first fashion show that I ever did, or even when I was Miss Wheelchair Wisconsin, I know you can relate to this, Tiffany, when you get up on that stage, all of these, hundreds of people, thousands of people are seeing you in a different light that on a daily basis, you don't normally get to showcase that.
I think it's, I love hearing you speak about all the different things that you do, and I think it's fascinating for people to hear the insight that you have, and like Molly said before, the attitude of gratitude that you just project. It's all around everything that you say. You know, but I can imagine that there's a lot of people watching. I think people are intimidated when they see someone in a wheelchair. They don't know what to say, they don't know how to act. I can imagine some people talk down, some people don't talk to you. What do you think is the most common misconception or stereotype? You know, if people don't ask to hold a door, or is there, I mean, something like that you think you can tell people about that helps us interact better with those who have a disability?
Well, one thing that you have to remember is we're still people. We still have the same feelings. You know, we get angry, we get sad, we get happy. We go through all of those same transitions and feelings that an able-bodied person would. And I feel like I personally was very blessed through this all because I've lived on both ends of the spectrum. I know what it feels like to not be in a wheelchair. I know what it feels like to be in a wheelchair. And not even just the wheelchair, but just, you know, being compromised in so many areas of my life. But the funny thing is that, or interesting, I should say, is that God blessed me with a lot of amazing things that I didn't know existed within myself, you know. So I lost the ability to walk, which is huge, of course. But you know what? Through that, through some of those losses that I've had, I've gained this insight on, you know,
Well, one of the things you told me is that you can detect sincerity and genuineness in people more than you ever used to be able to do. I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, and you know, I think too, you know, when people approach you, you know, if someone isn't sincere and genuine inside, they're probably not going to approach you at all. So one thing that I like to do when I see people staring or I see people that maybe are feeling a little awkward around me, I just make the first step and I just, you know, smile back at them or say hello, or you know, I make that first move. And so that's one of the things that I do personally to make people feel comfortable around me, because I understand that it probably is a little bit awkward, because I certainly didn't know any of this kind of stuff prior to my injury. Neither did my family. I mean, I had no idea that, you know, people that maybe were in a wheelchair, you know, okay, they couldn't walk, but I didn't know they couldn't maybe go to the bathroom on their own. I mean, who thinks about that?
And I think there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of interaction that people can and should be having, and sometimes I think it's just a matter of being open to it. You have a great blog for people to read your story and find out more about the fashion show coming up in October, which is happening again on the 20th, and the name of that fashion show is called This Is How We Roll, and that's a fundraiser as well. And you can go to Jenny's Facebook page or find her at inspirationspeaks.me. It's always great to have you here.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
being
so
here,
much
Jenny.
for your time.
Love it.